You know how we humans have chins like right here? Yeah. Well, it turns out that having a chin might actually be one of our more unique traits. Like, sure, some primates have chins, but we're the only ones that do. So why do we have them? Well, we don't really know. But now that you've asked, I feel like we should at least try to figure it out. And to do that, we're going to need to answer some other questions first. Like, what is a chin and what does it do? It's from a certain angle. This looks a lot like a turtle's shell or the bottom of a boat, which is to say it's basically a horizontal projection supported by bony plates on either side. Well, it could have something to do with the shape of our heads. See, human babies are born with really, really squishy skulls. I mean, look at this one. And that would have put even more pressure on our jaws to move differently. Plus, we started standing up straighter, which meant that gravity was pulling our faces downward instead of, forward. This likely affected the way our jaws developed too. Oddly Human, where some of our favorite science communicators take on some of the strangest things about being human. Thanks for watching and learning with us. It's like, why do we have nipples if we don't use them? Why do we get goosebumps? And what does it mean to dream? All great questions. Those fontanelles are like the soft spots on the tops of your head as a baby. Of course, this is just one of many theories out there. Some scientists think the chin might have evolved to prevent us from choking, while others think it might have been a sexually selected trait that came about because men wanted to have something cute to grab onto while they were kissing women on the cheek. They allow our brains to kind of slosh around as we being born and help our heads maintain their shape as we grow. As fetuses, we start off with these flat, smooth surfaces instead of chins. So as we evolved, natural selection favored individuals who had slightly thicker skulls. Thicker skulls that were better at protecting our brains, but also left less space for our jaws to stick out. So if our jaws couldn't stick out as far, we would have had to change the way we used them. I mean, just listen to this. If I didn't have a chin, my beard wouldn't look nearly as good. But as we grow, our jaws develop and protrude outward, creating these new angles where the surfaces meet. But there are two main problems with that idea. First, other animals don't really make the same sounds that we do. And second, if they did, they'd probably need bigger brains to process all of that extra sound information. And there's only so much room in a skull for stuff like teeth and jaws and brains. So it seems like the evolution of our sound-making and processing abilities and maybe even our big brains themselves, may have actually come before the evolution of our chins, freeing up enough space in our skulls for those chins to evolve without pushing anything else out. But while the rest of our skull basically stops growing after we're born, our chins keep growing throughout childhood and adolescence, sometimes well into our 20s. But unlike those things, the chin isn't connected to the rest of the skeleton. For example, we use our chins for well-eating, specifically for making various sounds while we eat. We also use our chins for talking, smiling, frowning, looking thoughtful, waging our heads and protecting ourselves from getting punched in the face. It's made up of the same cartilage and skin that make up the rest of our face. The way we form our chins is pretty similar to the way the rest of our faces form too. Scientists think that this extra growth might be related to the way we use our chins, which is to say we use them for a bunch of different things. So given that the chin is such a useful thing to have, you would think that other animals would have evolved to have them too. But why did we evolve to use our chins in such a different way than other animals? But if our heads were any softer, they wouldn't protect our brains very well. We also evolved to have smaller teeth, which meant we didn't need to keep our mouths open as wide to eat. Basically, over time, our jaws evolved to compensate for all of these changes until, bam, chin. I personally like the brain hypothesis, but regardless of why we evolved to have chins, I think we can all agree that they're pretty dang useful. If you liked learning about all the weird stuff that makes us us, then you're going to love C-Show's new original series. So if you want to see the series premiere of Oddly Human, head over to the website or check out the link in the description below.